Thank you, good to be here. Let's talk today about Pacific. We've got one of those too. We've got three major project areas focused in the Asia Pacific region. Fiji, where we're the largest tenement holders, large early stage projects. Cambodia, where we've got a very interesting emerging copper gold story. Cambodia, great country to work in. But the one I'm really here to talk to today is Papua New Guinea, Woodlark Island, 2 million ounce resource. As you can see, all those projects are along strike, so there's a huge upside potential here. Corporate snapshot. Importantly, the board here has built 10 mines in 6 countries, 3 different commodities. So we don't have a hard time convincing people that we can build a mine. We've also recently put Ian Klein on the board, who was the previous CEO of the Bank of South Pacific, which was the largest bank in PNG. So we're well geared up with people who know how to build mines and experience in country. Currently, 11 million cash, so we've got more than enough cash in the bank to do what we need to do over the next 12 months. Importantly, shareholders, Resource Capital Funds and Tembo, big hitters with some other big hitters in there as well to help us move forward. Where's Woodlark Island? It's sitting 300 k's off the coast of PNG. It's not that difficult to get to. It's a 20-minute flight off the coast, totally surrounded by world-class deposits. As you can see here, a 2 million ounce deposit is a baby, so huge upside potential, and there's absolutely no doubt you're in a part of the world where you can build mines because some of the world's best and biggest mines are already there. Woodlark Island itself, it's about 70 k's long, 20 k's wide. We have 2 exploration licences and a fully granted and fully permitted mining licence. 2 major deposits at Coolamadaw and Busai, resources there shared pretty well equally, and Woodlark King is a smaller one off to the south. Most of the island is covered by a thin veneer of coronis, which is limestone material, and both Coolamadaw and Busai are low hills sticking out of this coronis material. So a lot of the island is hidden to conventional geochemistry, and there's a huge amount of potential under this 5 to 10 metre thick veneer of limestone. What's the plan at Woodlark? This is the important thing. We see ourselves as the next round of producers. The aim is 120,000 ounce per annum gold producer with a 10-year mine life. Currently we have about 800,000 ounces in reserve, and we see this moving rapidly forward with a short development timeline. The project is fully permitted, fully licensed. We could start building this tomorrow because of the work that was done by our predecessors. So we don't have to jump through too many hurdles. What we need to do to complete the transaction is to get up to a reserve of 1.2 million ounces, well on the way there. Show you how we're going to do that in a minute. Rebase the CapEx and the OpEx costs. Now these costs were done in 2012, so absolute top of the market costs, and we rebase those. We're already seeing huge savings coming through on some of the costs that were done there. We know what was happening in 2012, top of the market, everything. So we rebase the CapEx, rebase the OpEx. That in itself will push the reserve base up, optimise the pits, and you'll see some of the issues there as we move forward. We took over the project, or got on the island in 2016. We began drilling in December. We've got 3 rigs on site at the moment, and we've recommenced engineering studies. They're progressing well. All targets so far have been achieved ahead of schedule, if not exceeded, and in 2017 we've started getting our first results in, and we'll have a look at some of those in the moment. And we've already added significant mineralisation to the project. There's some of our drillers. They're a good looking lot, but they know how to drill a hole. Here's a bit of a video of the place. You need to understand the island. It's a pretty easy place to operate. We're on the coast. We're sitting over the top of the Busai deposit at the moment, flying forward to where the exploration camp is. It's just on the other side of that low hill in front of us. And we'll rotate around to the north here very shortly. You can see the ocean off the front there, only about 4 k's from the coast. Got an excellent area to put in a deep water port. As you can see, no logistical challenges here, so we're not up in the highlands. This is a very easy place to operate. We've got a small population on the island, about 6,000 between the island and surrounding islands. They're all very keen. They've known mining on the island since about 1880s. You'll see the Busai ore zone there down to the right. The plant site will be sitting in the middle, and the Coolamadaw ore body, the other half of the two main ore bodies, is that low hill off in the distance. Flying forward now to about where the plant site will be, rotating back around over the Busai deposit, which is pretty well directly in the middle of the picture, one of the zones. So as you can see, no topographical challenges here, easy place, covered in limestone, great place to build a mill. We're over here at Coolamadaw now, so you can see off in the distance, there's current port on the right. We're going to put a new one in on the left-hand side of the bay there, 14 metre deep anchorage, easy place to get in. There's a small village down on the left there. That's where most of our workforce will come from. They're very good people. The government continually tell us that we've got the best people in PNG. They're all extremely nice, easygoing folk. They're 100% on side this project. They're subsistence farmers at the moment, but very proud, as you'll see in the village later on. It's absolutely immaculate, so they do have a lot of pride, and we've been working very closely with them to move the project forward. Busai off in the distance, so that's looking back the other way, and you'll see the east ore zone from Coolamadaw there will rotate again round to the north. You'll see the northern zone come through. We're pretty well right over the top of the main zone at the moment. So as you can see, a fairly easy place to operate. And I must point out, as an MD, I'm a pretty average drone pilot, but I am getting better. So there's the west ore zone. That's a very high-grade zone. Here's our camp at the moment. There's been $150 million spent on this project, 275,000 metres of drilling, fully fledged camp already in place, very sophisticated camp. So we've got an excellent base to move forward on. And you'll see not far from the coast. So it's a great place to be. We've got a good workforce available to us that we won't have to fly in, fly out. We've got easy topography, and we've got a massive exploration upside, and we'll talk about that. That's the current port at the moment. That's where everything gets landed. Most stuff comes in by LCT and barges. And this is something we're pretty comfortable with because a fair percentage of the board has built mines on islands before. We've operated in logistically challenged places with barge support. So we're used to using these sorts of logistics, and the savings in using them can be great if you do it properly. So you can see the new port going across the coast there, and easy access straight out to the sea, and that's pretty well pointing straight back at the PNG mainland there now. This local village, we actually cracked the kids for Independence Day when we were taking this footage, so they don't normally go to school dressed like that. But as you can see, immaculate village, no rubbish, very, very clean, very easy people to get on with. Love watching drones, and this was really the beginning of the end for me because I learned a very valuable drone lesson of don't fly a drone sideways, just keep it going forward. How are we going to make this work? Well, it's pretty easy really. We've got 2 million ounces in resource. We just need to increase the reserves that we've got. If we look at the Coolamadaw area first, the west and the east ore bodies, the east ore body was discovered sterilisation drilling for the west ore body. So this is a real engineer's find. He said, I'm putting the waste dump here. And the geos at the time were told they had to go out and drill sterilisation holes, which is why most of them are short. They found the east ore body. As you'll see here at the west, open at depth, 54 metres at 1.7 hanging out the bottom of the pit, and also over at the east, 13 metres at 5. Now this is pretty typical right along the ore bodies. So what we need to do is convert this inferred mineralisation that's hanging out the bottom of the pits due to lack of drilling, convert that inferred into measured and indicated and move it into the reserve base. We don't see it as a huge challenge. It's oxide ore, it's free milling, mid-90s recovery, absolutely no issues there at all. Looking at the Coolamadaw area, you see at the moment 2 pits. All the blue is inferred, so what we're really about now is converting that inferred into measured and moving into the pit. There's also a lot of measured indicated in the current pit that's not falling into the reserve because of the high OPEX from costs that were driven by 2012 prices. So we see this as a fairly easy one. We're currently drilling in this area. Whoops, a daisy. Currently drilling in this area here. Join these pits up. We do see this area is becoming one large pit. This area down here is where the village is. It hasn't been drilled yet. We will be moving the couple of hundred people in the village. That's a deal that's already done. They already know where they're going and what's going on. So that's all good. And as soon as we move them, I think we'll turn this into one large pit. If we have a look at Busai, the other areas, this is a recent release. We only put this one out a couple of weeks ago. This is the first couple of holes that were drilled in this area. You can see the base of the 2012 pit that was there. We are looking to push this down and infill and extend along strike. As you can see, the first two holes that went in there did a pretty good job of that. 22 metres at 2 and 23 at 1.7, 50, 60 metres below the base of the pit. So we don't see it as being a huge task to tidy this up and convert a lot of this inferred mineralisation through into measured and indicated. We released this one today. This is a very interesting hole. This hole was drilled in 2008. It's a geotech hole. It was never assayed. So we re-assayed it, and it had 63 metres of mineralisation in it, and as you can see, it's pointing in the opposite direction of the pit. So some very good hits. It does show the upside of the mineralisation that's adjacent as well as below the pit. You'll also notice the very shallow wall angles there, probably because they did the geotech on what was actually ore and nowhere near as competent as the wall rock. So tightening the wall angle up is one of the things that we will be doing. That alone adds about 150,000 ounces to the reserve base. Good hit there at the bottom, 26 metres at 3.17. That's the sort of stuff we like to see, and that included 11 metres at 6.5. So this was a freebie for us. All we had to do was assay it. Exploration upside, absolutely huge as far as we see it. As we say, the island's covered by this thin veneer of coronis, so geochem hasn't worked all that well, but geophysics, which was flown very late in the piece, 2014, is really highlighting what's going on underneath. So here we've got helimag. You can see several structures coming through. IP delineates these even better, so there'll be a lot of IP coming up in the near future. But with that 275,000 metres of drilling, only half of that is around the reserve areas. The rest of it is spread all around. So there's many, many areas with good hits that require follow-up. So there's a lot of work to do here. If this isn't a 5 million ounce field, I'll be very surprised. And at 5 million ounces, it still makes it a pretty small one for the area that we're in. So we see massive upside potential in here, but the immediate focus is to get into production as fast as we possibly can, get to 1.2 million ounces, and away we go. The opportunity here, it's a proven management team. As we say, we have built 10 mines, most of those being in logistically challenged areas. This is one of the easier ones. Operating on islands using barge support for us is just too easy. Most of our exploration team have done this most of their lives, so it's all good. It's a very development ready project. We would be expecting to start DFS on this year, and with a little bit of luck pushing the button not far after that. We've got some big hitters on the register who want to build this project as much as we do. It's got a current large resource base, 2 million ounces, a pretty good start, remembering that we haven't paid anything to get those ounces. So it was a good pickup, and the exploration upside also very, very large. We've got 11 million in the bank after a fundraising last year. We've got that big institutional support to move us through to the next stage of the project. We got in very cheap. We're at the bottom of the market now, and we can see that it's all upside from here, and we do look forward to being one of the next off the rank to start a build. That's about done for me. If you've got time later on, please join us for drinks over at Little Creatures. Meet the whole team that's around, and you can also win a gold bar from the Mint. It's not a big one, but it is a real gold bar. Thank you very much.